Hey folks, it's Barney Love. I'm back with another review, My 600-Pound Life. This one's on Alicia Kerrigan. I just want to say, well, if you already familiar with this channel, you kind of know how I roll as far as these videos are concerned. Before I actually get into the review, if there's something I want to address, I address it briefly, and I do have a couple things I want to say. But first, I'd like to talk about the new subscribers. Thank you so much for adding this channel. Within the last week, my subscriber count went up close to 300. So, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you guys are interested enough to check out my content. So, hopefully I can keep it interesting and stimulating for you. Next, I would just like to say, and I've talked about this before, and I just want to mention this one more time. I do not mean to offend anybody. As far as loyal subscribers, people that are on my channel that comment regularly, that are here and are really into my content. They make requests and suggestions and things of that nature. That I definitely fuck with you for sure, because you're always here and you're loyal. So, when I say certain things, a lot of the time I'm just joking around. When I first started doing videos on this channel, I stuck mainly to the facts. I always gave my honest, truthful opinion, but I usually just stuck to the facts, and I'm not as playful and what you call them, jokey joke like I am now. I really try to make things fun. I had to loosen up a little bit. So now that I'm loosened up and I'm comfortable with you guys, I can play around now a little bit with trying to be a little funny, I guess. I don't want to just stick to just the facts when it comes to these videos. Why not make them interesting and fun? So whatever. This has always been my personality. I'm just I'm getting used to being a YouTuber now. I had to really get out of that comfort zone, because YouTube was something I always wanted to do, but making videos is a lot of work, especially when you have to edit and all that type of stuff. It's still stuff that I'm learning, and I'm telling you, I didn't know how to do any of this stuff. My 15-year-old daughter had to show me, Mom, like, this is how you do it, like, because she's got a channel too, but most of her channel is centered around like drawings and cartoon characters that she's drawn and made up, and that's what her YouTube channel is about. And she's had it longer than me, so she knows how to work these apps and edit and all that kind of stuff. So it took me a little while to learn, but I got it down packed now, at least I think. And yeah, so it's editing and encoding and exporting videos and all that. Sometimes it takes a while, and it's a grind. It's work. Okay, so, but I don't mind it. I love it. I love it. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patience. Sometimes I can't get the videos out right then and there because I'll be having so much going on. But thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, so now I want to get into this review. All right, so Alicia Kerrigan, 32 years old at the time. She's from Madison, Illinois. So we start off the first scene. She's getting out of bed, complaining about how painful it is. And then she walks over to the shower. So shower scene, which is normal and common for these people on My 600-Pound Life. Talks about her boyfriend, Tim, how they live together. She refuses to ask him to bathe her, which I don't blame her. I don't blame her. It changes the relationship when you when your mate becomes a caregiver. It totally changes. It's not the same. the intimacy, and I'm not even talking about physically. I'm talking about the intimacy emotionally and stuff. The bond that you may have had, it begins to diminish. It goes from desirable to, oh, I'm just over here to take care of this motherfucker today. So I get it. I get why she didn't want to ask him to bathe her. One thing I can give Miss Alicia Kurgan credit for is the fact that she was still mobile. She was still getting around and she was still driving. There's people on this show that have stopped driving. They're still in the bed. They're bed bound. Well, lymphedema plays a significant role, I think, as far as some of these people being bed bound at what I consider not that big in terms of morbidly obese, super morbidly obese. I mean, you're big when you're 500-600 pounds, but some of the reason why they're mobile or immobile, I'm sorry, at 500 or 600 pounds is because of severe lymphedema. So that part I get. I a lot in my videos, a lot. I compare some of the cast members to Rashonda from One Ton Family, 2-part episode of my 600-pound life. And she's probably one of the most remarkable cast members I've ever seen, because she was 800 pounds and she was still mobile. And I say, well, some of these cast members are smaller than her and they're not mobile, but she's 800 pounds and she's still mobile. So it's like, but I just would like to say, which I should have said in previous videos, that you can be less than, 800 pounds like Rashonda and be bedbound if you have lymphedema, okay? And it was just amazing that Rashonda didn't have lymphedema at being 803. She first weighed in at 803 with Dr. Nell. So yeah, I mean, Alicia, yeah, she was still walking at her weight, and she was like 600 and something. Well, I'll get to that part as far as like what she weighed in at. Okay, so after she takes her shower, she has a whole box of donuts. She has a whole box of donuts. She basically just sits there in front of the TV and eats it all. Just eats the whole box right in front of the television set. This is what her boyfriend was frustrated with. He was just frustrated with how much she sits in front of the television and just eats and eats and eats, and just kind of gave up on life at that point. All she wanted to do was just be lazy, for lack of a better word, and just be in front of the television and gorge on food. But in this particular episode, he has talked about addictions that he has struggled with himself as far as drugs. So he should have been able to understand, which later on in the episode, he did speak on that. He said, I get where she's coming from. I've had addictions that I've struggled with in my life. So, I get it. But, he was still frustrated with her. I mean, because he would work all day and, come home and she'd be sitting in front of the TV eating. That's all she would do all fucking day long while he'd be out working, So, so she talked about her childhood. She started putting on weight at an early age. Dad wasn't around much. Mom worked. She was a single mother. Even though mom was a single mother and was raising her, she spent a lot of time with her grandma, Faye, which she felt raised her, probably because she spent more time with the grandma. But overall, the mother was raising her. By age 7, she was 160 pounds. Mother was very verbally abusive about her weight. At age 10, she was 200 pounds. That's a lot. For age 10, that's... Okay. I don't know, what the fuck were they feeding this woman? I mean, well, this child at the time. Age 10, 200 pounds? Okay. So, okay, all right. Grandma Faye, when she passed away of lung cancer, Alicia did not get a chance to say goodbye. So she was very regretful of that. I don't know what caused her not to be able to say goodbye, but she just couldn't, for some odd reason, she was not able to do so. Because of that, she turned more to food. Mom was embarrassed by her, and because her mom was embarrassed by her weight, Alicia would eat more because she was depressed at how her mother felt about her. So how her mother felt about her just made her turn to food and made the situation even worse. Okay, so by age 14, she was 300 pounds. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't know what to say about that. 14 years old, you're 300 pounds. Something's not right there. I mean, a lot of it is on the parents. You know, you cannot. Well, okay, the mother was embarrassed, but if you're that embarrassed, do something to stop it. Let's just stop allowing her to eat like that. But, you know, by the time they reach age 14, and I know because I have a 15-year-old, I know how they get, you know. Maybe Alicia wasn't that way, but they start to get set in their little ways when they get around 14, 15 years old. They you know, and if you try to take food from them at that age, not saying that it will be a fight, but you're going to get some attitude, and it's going to be some back and forth, and, you know, it's going to be quite a bit. Maybe the mother just figured, okay, I mean, I'm just guessing, I don't know. But maybe the mother just figured, oh, well, she's at an age now where if I try to take food away from her, you know, then she's probably going to give me, you know, an attitude. So, fuck it, I'm not even going to touch it. I mean, you do have some parents that are like that. They feel like it's too challenging to go back and forth with their child, so they'll just give up and say, to hell with it, I'm not dealing with it, fuck that shit. I mean, that could have been the case. Because at age 14, you know, when they get around that age, they start smelling themselves. Let me just say, for those that don't know what smelling themselves mean, I mean, because you do have some people that, I'm sure, that I have some followers that don't quite understand my lingo. I've heard some white folk use this terminology. Don't take what I say as racist, okay? Don't take what I say as racist, because it's not, okay? I'm liable to say anything. Well, almost anything. But, you know, it's just a fact. Sometimes some black folk have different lingo than white folk, okay? And because of that, sometimes I could say something that my white subscribers don't get what I'm trying to say. So if you don't know what I'm saying, I'm going to explain it to you. Okay, so smelling yourself means when a child starts to get into teenage years, they start, what's the words I'm looking for? They think they know everything. They think they're grown. You just can't tell them nothing. A lot of teenagers get that way, okay? And maybe her mother felt that way. Maybe her mother felt that, okay, well, you know, she's at the age where fuck that. I can't deal with it anymore. Okay, so mom puts her, well, she did try to put her in a weight loss club. Okay, but I guess it didn't work. It just, you know, it fell through. By age 18, she was 400 pounds. Jesus. I mean, how can a 14-year-old truly enjoy life at 400? I mean, I'm sure you probably can, but I'm sure it's tougher at 400 pounds. You know what I mean? At 18. Okay, so she got raped at the age of 18. This is what she told us, and she ate to deal with the pain. So by age 20, she was 500 pounds. She dropped out of college, gave up her dream of being a kindergarten teacher, and just wanted to give up on life. So her weight caused her to just say, fuck it, I'm not going to go forward with my career. But I guess her life, she felt like it just lit up a little bit more when, or started to resurrect or come back to life when she met her boyfriend, Tim. Tim did seem like a very supportive guy. He seemed like he was really there for her. I mean, he had his times where he got frustrated with her and just couldn't take, you know, some of what was going on in terms of her addiction to food. But he seemed like he was very supportive to an extent. To an extent. When you're an enabler, you're not supportive at all. But in an enabler's mind, you think sometimes you are being supportive because you feel like if giving a person food or allowing them to do whatever the fuck they're doing to self-destruct is the only thing that keeps them happy, okay, so just go ahead and let them do that. But that's a very distorted way of thinking. That person has a problem too, because it's like, okay, you want to keep this person happy, but you know on the flip side of things that what they're doing to keep them happy is not good for them. But because you don't want to hear their mouth and you want to keep them in your life and you don't want any trouble, you're not going to say anything. You're just going to go ahead and continue to let them self-destruct. But he did enable her some, but he ended up figuring it out after Dr. Nell kind of got on his case. Dr. Nell had to kind of get on his case and let him know, if you're not part of the solution, you are part of the fucking problem. But overall, he got himself together, and I'm really, really glad that he got himself together and he started to stand up to Alicia and let her know these are the things you should not be doing, instead of just constantly letting her do it because he didn't want to piss her off or make her mad or start any friction between those two. Okay, so he said that they could relate to one another because they were both addicts. Tim was addicted to drugs. She says he didn't judge her. And I don't believe he did. I don't. He couldn't. I mean, even though he didn't have an addiction to food, it was not the same addiction, but he did have an addiction. So he knows what it's like to have withdrawals and to how it, for it to be hard to deal with something. Okay. So, he said he just fell in love with her. He didn't care about her weight. He loved her carefree spirit, but is frustrated because of all she wants to do is just sit in front of the TV and eat all day. Yeah. I mean, I'd be frustrated with that too. Even if I had an addiction and I understood what it meant to be addicted to something, even if I could relate to what that is, if I'm going to work all day, okay, and I'm paying all the bills, and when I come home, you're sitting on your ass just watching TV, just gorging, just stuffing your face with donuts and fast food and all that. And you know what? That's a part. I think I skipped that part. Oh no, I didn't. Actually, that's the next part. Well, in the voiceover, she says she can't wait. She said she can't wait for Tim to get home. She was actually home. She was actually home. Okay, so she was home chilling, and she was saying that I can't wait for Tim to get home from work. I can't do it. She said, I just have to leave out and get some food. So what she would do is she would, while he's at work, she would go out and get foods. I mean, he knows that, I'm sure he knows, he had to have known that she was eating like she shouldn't while he wasn't home, but probably not to this extent. So I think what she was doing was, fuck it, I cannot wait for him to come home. I don't want to just sit here and be lazy and wait for him to come home so that I can go get something to eat. I'm just going to take the keys. I'm going to go get in this car, even though it's very uncomfortable for me to get in this car. I'm 600 and some odd pounds, but I'm just going to take the keys. I'm going to get in the car and I'm going to go and I'm going to get some food, and I'm just going to try to hide the fact that I'm eating this much. But how can you really hide that though? How can you really hide that you're eating that much? I mean, you're over 600 pounds. You had to get to that point some type of way. Now, you cannot become 600 pounds overnight. It takes years to get to that point. But I just feel like, still, even though it takes years, he has to know that she's taking in those amount of calories. It's got to be 6,000 to 10,000 calories a day. Okay, but she still tries to hide it from him. I think he knows that she eats, but not to that extent. But you have to know, like, duh. Like, it's just, you got to eat a lot in order to get like that, like her. Okay, so she gets the keys to the car. She leaves out. She goes to the grocery store. She gets all this unhealthy food at the grocery store alone. Okay, and then afterwards, you would think what she got from the grocery store was enough. It was not. This is exactly what she ordered. I wrote this down because you know me, I take notes when I watch the show so I can review it for y'all the best way that I can. Okay, but I wrote this shit down. Let me tell you what she got. Okay, she got two 5-piece breast strip meals, a large order of mashed potatoes. Just imagine or picture a large mashed potatoes from KFC or Popeyes or who else has mashed potatoes? I can only think of Popeyes or Church's Chicken. Okay, a large order. Okay, 9 fried dill pickles, 9 of them, and jalapeno poppers. I think she got 2 orders of jalapeno poppers. So let me repeat that. Okay, 2 fried breast strip meals, a large order of mashed potatoes, 9 fried dill pickles, and 2 orders of jalapeno poppers. Okay, so she's going to eat all of that by herself. That's got to be about 20,000 calories. Has to be. You didn't just order one order of 5-piece breast strip meal. You ordered 2. Okay, so each meal alone has probably about 1,500 calories in it, give or take, between 1,000 and 1,500 calories. Mashed potatoes, 9 fried dill pickles, and jalapeno poppers. She's eating all of this while Tim is not around, and she admits that she's not honest with him about how much she eats. So the next scene, she goes home, Tim comes home, and she lies to him about, well, not really lies. I'm not going to say she lies. She just wasn't 100% honest. She told some honesty, but she left some things out. She went to the fast food restaurant to get food for the both of them. She ate most of it and just gave him a one order of the jalapeno poppers. So stop trying to make it seem like you went to get fast food for the both of you so that you all could have, something yummy to munch on. You didn't even have this man in mind when you went to get all that food. You only thought about yourself. You got an additional order of jalapeno poppers, which you probably wanted to eat too, but you didn't. To make it look like it was, oh, well, honey, I got you an order of jalapeno poppers to cover up your bullshit. But you didn't tell him you ordered all that food. Okay. So he said he's frustrated with Alicia. But you can tell that he loves her. Yeah, he loves her. He loves her to death. He really supported her. He supported her the best way that he could. And he supported her as much as he could. The only way that he knew how. He did what he felt was what would make her happy. I don't believe that there was any manipulation or anything like that involved with him. I don't believe so. I think he just loved her so much. He didn't want to hurt her feelings. He didn't want to piss her off. He didn't want to come across offensive. He figured if I just go ahead and let her eat and don't say anything about it, even though I don't like it and I know it's not healthy for her, it won't cause a problem between the two of us. A lot of guys on the show, not all, but a lot of guys, as far as the cast members' mate, usually tries to manipulate and control. I just didn't pick that up from him. I didn't see him as somebody that was trying to keep her big. He seemed like somebody that really wanted her to lose the weight. He wanted her to get healthy. He wanted her to be able to get up and do things. And, he really wanted the best for her from what I could see. I didn't see any type of ulterior motive or manipulation or anything like that from Tim. He seemed like a good guy. Okay. So, the next scene, they pack up and they get on the road and head to Houston to see Dr. Nell. During the ride down, she gets out, she stretches, she says she's hurting, she's got to stretch a little bit. And when she gets out, he gets out with her and he rubs her feet. I thought that was just so beautiful. I said, oh, he really, really loves her. Like he's affectionate with her. Even though he has expressed that, the relationship isn't really where he wants it to be. He wanted it to be on a more intimate level, and they just couldn't have that because of her size. He still was very affectionate with her, and I really thought that was nice. She speaks of how they are not intimate, like I just said, and she wants to lose the weight and change that. She really used him as motivation to lose the weight. I mean, she struggled at first. She had some issues at first, but she used him as motivation. She used him as the reason why she, felt like, I should do this. I mean, why not? You first do it for you, but she didn't have any children or anything like that. It wasn't like she was trying to live for her children. She didn't have any. So, the first reason should be yourself. You should do it for you first and foremost, and then everything else should follow. And I would have to say, Tim was a big motivation for her. So on the road, during one of the voiceovers, she says Tim took a week off from work and he did all the driving. He loves her. Yeah, for somebody to take off that much time from work to help you and to get you back on track, he must really, really care. There must really be some real love there. Okay. They get to Dr. Nell's. When she gets on the scale, she weighs in at 622. She said she was embarrassed by that number. I would be too. If I was 600 pounds, I'd be, yeah, I'd be embarrassed by that as well. I mean, that's a lot, especially at her height. Dr. Nell was talking about that. She was only 5'3", and he told her, he said, 622 pounds is the equivalent to 800 pounds of someone that is of average height. So yeah, if she was taller, if she was like 5'7" or 5'8", like myself, I'm like 5'7", 5'7.5". Yeah, she would probably be like 800 pounds. Yeah, so that's about equivalent. 622 is a lot for somebody that's it's enormous for somebody that's only 5'3" tall. So Dr. Now asks about her eating habits. This part, I think this was one of the more classic parts of the episode, when Dr. Now asks about who buys the food, and he says, Tim doesn't feed you, and she says no. She says, he says no enabler, and she says no. Alicia says, I prefer to eat when people are not around because I don't like to be judged or watched. Most people like to do their dirt alone, and it's not just about food. It's anything. It could be drugs. It could be, well, of course, not of course. Some people do it out in the open. Not like out in the open, but if you're a sex addict, you're not going to go around telling people about it because you don't want people to judge you. You're going to do that shit behind closed doors. If you're a sex addict with different people, if you're promiscuous with it. Okay. So it's not just about eating. It could be about drugs. It could be about sex. It could be about alcoholism. Nobody that has a demon that they're struggling with really wants to do it around people that aren't doing it like them. You know how you got people that do drugs and they do drugs with their buddies. People that, do the same shit that they do. The people that aren't into it, the people that are against it, they don't want to be around people that, they don't want to do their shit around people that's going to be like, hey, you ain't supposed to be fucking doing that. They don't want to be around people like that because they want to be able to, do their dirt in peace. They want to do their dirt in peace, honey child. They just don't want you all up in their face, getting on them and judging them about what the fuck they're doing. That's anybody. It's not just about a food addict, a sex addict, a drug addict, an alcoholic, a thief. You got people that go out and rob houses and stores and churches and whatever else together. They'll do it with the people that'll do it with them, but they're not gonna go out and let everybody know. Oh well, I just robbed somebody. I just stole from somebody. No, they're gonna do that shit with like-minded people. They're not gonna do it with people that's gonna judge or tell people that's gonna judge them. Just do your dirt in fucking peace. Okay, so Alicia says, that's what she wanted to do. Alicia says, I prefer to eat when I'm not being judged. So Dr. Now says, so are you sure Tim is not enabling you or whatever? So she says, no, I do this when he's not around. So Tim kind of gives her this look like, really? Like you're hiding your food from me? But I find it hard to believe that Tim does not know that she eating like that at home. He act like he didn't know to that, it was to that extent. She probably thinks she's hiding it from him, but he's got to know. For her to be 600 and something pounds, he has to know. Come on now. Come on. Give me a fucking break. And this woman can still get around. Now, if she was immobile, then I could probably go along with him not really knowing because she can't get up and get the shit herself. But she was still getting around. She was still driving. She was still walking, even though she was 600 and some odd pounds. She was even taking her own showers. She was getting around better than most people at 600 and something pounds. So she's able to do all that. Then you have to have some type of idea that she was eating fucked up when, like more than what she should. Just sitting there gorging on food while you're not home, while you working and making the bread to pay the bills. Something's not right there. So anyway, Dr. Nell puts her on a 1,200 calorie low carb diet. The goal is 50 pounds lost by the next weigh-in. Okay, so Dr. Nell doesn't buy that Tim doesn't know what's going on. Yeah, that's what I said. And it was like, see, me and Dr. Nell, we think alike. We think alike. Like, we had the same thoughts. It was like, how does this man know? How does he not know that? Like, you got to know this woman is sitting at home eating like a pig. You have to know that. Like, she's not outright telling him what she's doing, and yeah, she's hiding it from him to an extent. It's not like as soon as he walked through the door and come home from work, she's, oh, well, honey, I just went to the drive-thru and ordered, like $30 worth of fucking fucked up food, and I just sat here and gorged on all of this shit by myself. No, she's not just going to come out and tell him that. But he has to know. And with Dr. Nell, I think what Dr. Nell was trying to say was, maybe, okay, he's saying that Tim was enabling her, but maybe he's saying, okay, well, he's enabling her by just allowing her to do it. Well, I mean, she grown. She can do what she wants to do. He can't stop her from doing what she wants. You can't control people. People going to do what the fuck they want. But in this case, he's just not speaking up. I think that's what Dr. Nell was trying to say. And he wasn't. He wasn't. And that's what I was saying earlier in this video. Her boyfriend was not speaking up. He was not standing up to her. Whenever she would eat like that around him, he wouldn't say anything. He had just started getting to the point of actually speaking out about how the fuck she was eating. After Dr. Nell got up in that ass and said something to him about it. This is why a lot of people don't like Dr. Nell like that, because he honest. The truth is a motherfucker. I'm telling you, the truth, it hurts, but it's helpful. It's helpful. And it helped. It helped because he eventually stood up to her and told her, look, but what he said, he was like, you're so sensitive. Like, I can't say nothing to you, but, I'm just trying to help you. Like, you know what I mean? He didn't want to hurt her feelings. He didn't want to piss her off. And I understand that. But in a way, that was his way of trying to make her happy. You know what I'm saying? That was his way of trying to be loving. Okay? But come on now. If you really love her, you're going to tell her the truth. He did the best he could, as far as emotionally, I guess, So Dr. Nell didn't really buy that, like I was saying. He didn't buy that he wasn't enabling her. So Dr. Nell asks what's her motivation to lose weight, and she says it's Tim. She wants to lose weight so she can have a better relationship with him. And I think that's a good reason, especially if you don't have any children, if it's just you and your mate. Yeah, just you first for yourself, for you got to do it for you first, and then everything else will follow. And I think that her boyfriend was a very good motivation. She wants to really be able to get out and do things and get in there and do that thing now. Let me tell you. I am not saying, and I'm sure there's probably people watch my videos and they're like, what she think fat people don't fuck? It's not even that. It's just, I think it's, I cannot see these people at 600 pounds. They cannot do certain positions. They're getting on top. I know they can't do that. Well, if they do, they crushing if it's a chick and she getting on, she is crushing the fuck out of that man. You understand? Yo, let me stop. Oh my God. I don't want to start talking about sex, because then, then this video will be like, ooh, how she go on from talking about fat people to, well, heavy. Let me stop using that word. I got to stop using that word, because that can be offensive to some people. Heavyset people, how she go from talking about heavyset people to fucking it? Because you cannot tell me that sometimes you don't wonder how they get down. Come on. I think that's just natural. How the fuck do they do anything? Like, they in a relationship. Like, how are they fucking? Like, how are they getting that thing in? You know what I mean? Like, you just wonder that shit sometimes. But my thoughts is like, I don't think they are. It ain't no way. And if they do, it's only certain positions they can fuck with. But let me stop. Lord have mercy. Let me stop it. I'm going off into something totally different. Let me go ahead and finish with this review. Okay? All right. So, next scene. Oh, well, before the next scene, Tim says he assures her that he'll be there for her. I believe that. And he was. That man was there for her. He loved him some Alicia. You heard me. That was his ride or die, bitch. What the fuck now? He was in love with her, man. This is the one episode I can honestly say, as far as their relationship, as far as how they carried, this love thing, this man and woman thing. This was one person that actually gave a fuck and fucked with his woman like that. Yes, Tim, I applaud you. You're a good guy. I don't know what's going on with you now. Now, I know Alicia did lose a lot of weight. I looked at her Facebook page. She looks good today. You know what I'm saying? But as far as this episode is, and I don't know what's going on with them now, but as far as this episode is concerned, yeah, she had a good man there. I like that. That's why I said big ups to y'all, because you do not see a lot of this on My 600-Pound Life. A lot of the couples, they be whatchamacallem. They be wanting to manipulate, to keep the person big so they can control them, so they can live off of them. This man actually wanted her to lose some weight. He didn't want her to stay like that. Or at least that's the impression I got. I could be wrong, but that's the way it looked to me. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, next scene. Makes a protein shake. Alicia makes a protein shake, and she says she's drinking protein shakes for breakfast and lunch. Cooks dinner for her and Tim, and it does not look like a healthy dinner. It is not a healthy meal. I'm sorry. It isn't. She's supposed to be on this diet. She's supposed to lose 50 pounds by the next weigh-in, but she cooks this, some type of meat. She had some asparagus in there, but it was, the plate was piled up with mashed potatoes. It's like, come on now. You cannot eat mashed potatoes when you want to diet. That shit ain't got no motherfucking protein in it. He wants you to eat stuff that's high in protein and low in carbs. No. Mashed potatoes is full of carbs. Leave that shit alone. If you want to cook that for him, fine. He's not on a diet. He's slim as hell. Okay? But you're not. Well, you weren't. You at the time. You need to lose the weight. So keep the mashed potatoes off your plate. Okay. So she's been distant from him because of the diet. He doesn't like it. Purposely distancing herself. Okay, so that right there was what let me know, like, yeah, this dude he really loves her. He really fucks with her like that, because he doesn't like the fact that they don't have an emotional bond. Let me tell you, when you can find a man like that, because a lot of men are not with all that emotional shit. Not everybody. Don't try to say I'm categorizing everybody, okay? But a lot of men are not that way. A lot of men, they don't want to, they feel like showing too much emotion is making them appear weak and girly, and they got to be hard and tough and rough and all that. No, he wanted an emotional connection with her. That's how I was like, yeah, she got a good one there. He was angry because those two weren't connected emotionally. She got a good one there. He was like, you must be really strong to distance yourself from me. Like, how you going to just keep yourself away from me like this? How are you going to not be emotionally connected to me like this? And she says, well, I'm just trying to just concentrate and focus on the diet. Honey, child, stop it. Because you know what? Your ass was cheating on that diet. And that's what take us to the next scene. Okay, so the next weigh-in, she weighs in at 604. She only lost 18 pounds. So she was cutting back, but she wasn't doing what she was told to do by the doctor. She was supposed to follow 1,200 calories, strictly 1,200 calories, and that's it. She didn't. She cut back, but she didn't cut shit all the way completely off like she was supposed to. Okay. So, she seemed like she was nervous of what the doctor was going to say. Yeah. Yeah, you probably were. Because you know you was wrong. You know what you were doing. The doctor asked what happened. She explains that her portions are bigger than they should be. So she did admit that she was making bigger portions. And she wasn't supposed to do that. Okay, so Dr. Nell says, why did you come here if you decided to make your own diet plan? He's right. Yeah, he comes down pretty hard on her. Yeah. If you're going to go by your own diet plan, fuck you doing that? Why are you even there? Like, just go by what he say if you want to lose the weight. You want to be a part of his program, follow the rules, or he going to put you the fuck out, okay? What people say, I'm hard on these people. You just wasting time. You wasting the man's time. She eventually got it together. She got it together by the end of the episode, but don't be wasting people's time, okay? Okay. So She got it together, but throughout most of this episode, she kind of wasted our time, But okay, so she was not approved for the surgery. Goal is 70 pounds in the next 2 months, and move to Houston. He tells them to move to Houston. Comes down hard on Tim and tells him, if you're not a part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Yes, he was enabling her, but I don't think he was doing it in a manipulative, malicious type of a way. I think he was just very, very afraid to say anything to her the way it would hurt her feelings. He was walking on eggshells with everything he said to her, and whatever made her happy, he was rolling with. He didn't want to hear her mouth. I don't think it had anything to do with any type of manipulation or anything or control. I just didn't see that from him. Okay, so next scene, they're back in Madison, Illinois. They're packing to move to Houston. She cried and she said it's scary that she's losing all of her comfort. Food was the only comfort that she really knew. What about your man? Your man right there. Shouldn't he be some of the source of some of your comfort? You had him. Well, he was always working, but you had a great man, But yeah, he was always at work. So I guess, yeah. So when he was at work and she was home, food was what she had. Okay, so I get that. It's hard to come out of something that's comfortable. But life begins at the end of your comfort zone. When you can let go of that comfort, honey, child, you gonna live. I'm telling you. Man, oh man. Okay, so Alicia drives to Houston because they need 2 cars. She's going to drive one. Tim drives the other. She's worried about driving nonstop for 2 days because of her size. She makes it there safely. Rental home fully furnished. Yeah, they had a pretty nice home. Home was decent. It was really nice. They picked out a good house. And it was cool that it was fully furnished. And Tim is taking care of everything. He's working. We don't know what type of income she had. Maybe she had some income, but he was taking care of mostly everything. He was working in Madison, Illinois. So who knows? Maybe he was able to transfer his job down there to Texas or just get a new job or whatever. But whatever, he was taking care of her. Good guy. Okay, so they get there. She prepares a meal. Tim sits with her and he gets on her about her portion size. He tells her not to get upset with him. Every time he says something to her about her portion control, she gets frustrated. And he's frustrated with the fact that she's so sensitive and he can barely say anything to her. But he did finally say something to her about her portion control because Dr. Nell let him know that you got to start saying stuff to her. Like you can't, if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. Pretty much he was saying, get on her about how she's eating. Don't enable the shit. Okay, so she says she won't let him down because he did uproot his life to move to Houston with her and help her. Yeah, he did. He didn't have to do that. He loves you. That's why he did what he did. Okay. So next scene, FaceTimes with mom about dieting. Mom expresses that she's worried about the surgery and concerned that things may not go well. That's always a fear. And, surgery is risky, so I get it. Next scene, she weighs in at 590, not close to the goal at all. Afraid of what Dr. Nell will say. Dr. Nell says she did worse. She says she don't understand why she did it. Oh, honey, you know why you did it. You was eating. You were eating. You were eating more than you were supposed to. Come on now. Okay, so she blames the move. Dr. Nell says stress is a part of life. You can't use the fact that you moved and all this type of stress you under as an excuse to overeat. She's also blaming her portions instead of breakfast. She skips it and just makes the portion larger for the dinner. She says that, and Tim co-signs it. And Dr. Nell says, Tim, no, that's wrong. That's wrong, Tim. If she's snacking, she's hiding it from you. She's not telling you that she's snacking. Okay, she's not being real. Okay, so he says she's probably taking in 6,000 to 8,000 calories a day, maybe more. I would say probably about a good 10,000 calories a day. That's just my guess. Because that girl was gorging on food. Okay, donuts and hamburgers and all that. Like she was going in. Okay, so the doctor tells her to stop making excuses. Both of them stop making excuses. He comes down hard on them both. Dr. Nell sets another goal, 45 pounds within the next month. He sends a dietitian out to her house. And the dietitian, her name is Roxanne. She shows her about calories from fat, calories, and pretty much throws everything out of her refrigerator that she doesn't need. Next scene, Tim and Alicia go back in for another weigh-in. Supposed to be under 545, weighs in at 538. Tim tells her, good job, and Dr. Nell says, you finally did it. He approves her for weight loss surgery. Tells her he'll schedule her, he'll put her on the schedule for surgery within next month, but keep losing weight until that time. or the surgery will be canceled. So Tim hugs and kisses her and admits that she's tougher than he thought. Yeah, I mean, he probably did doubt her because she's had a history of not doing what she's supposed to do in the past. She kept fucking up. But now that she finally did it, and she showed and proved her strength, he admitted that, okay, all right, I didn't think you were going to do it. I thought you was just, too addicted. But you did it, and I'm proud of you. That's a good guy. Good guy. So next scene, she goes in for surgery. Alicia's parents come down and they're very supportive. Surgery goes well. Most of her weight was carried in her stomach. Dr. Nell said that that's what made the surgery difficult because the majority of the fat was in her stomach. But the surgery was successful. Next scene, she goes home. She's on liquid diet and she hates it. By month 8, a few months since surgery, cravings are coming back. Her and Tim have a conversation about how she needs to talk to her mom because the stress between her and her mother is what makes her want to eat. She gets a little frustrated with Tim about that. She basically doesn't she said his suggestion is right, but because he's telling her the truth, she got a little offended. Come on now. He's telling you the truth. You need to go and talk to your mother. Sit down and have a conversation with your mother so y'all can get things in order and you can get past these emotions so you can be successful with your diet and losing the weight. So she goes home and she talks to her mom. Her mother lives in St. Louis, Missouri. So she drives from Houston to St. Louis alone. She cries and she compares the loss of food to her best friend, losing her best friend. And she goes and she talks to her mother and her mother talk about how she felt she tells her mother how she felt she wasn't good enough. And her mom cries and she said, I didn't mean to make you feel that way. It was a very heartfelt moment. They were able to mend whatever they were dealing with. So that's good. She got things straightened out with her mom. So by month 10, Tim and Alicia take walks together. Tim is amazed that she's pushing herself so hard. Yeah, so she's trying. She got to the point now where she was half of the episode she was bullshitting, but the other half she ended up getting it together. So they go for walks together, and he's just amazed that she's pushing herself the way that she is, and she is able to do more than what she could do a year ago, and he's glad that they're able to go out and do stuff. So by month 11, she weighs in at 452, 59 pounds down since surgery. Tim hugs and kisses her, 170 pounds off all total. If she keeps it up, she'll get approved for skin surgery, according to Dr. Nell, with a destination of getting all the way down to 150 pounds. Yeah, if she's not there now, I think she's close to it. She really looks good today. Okay, so Dr. Nell acknowledges that Tim supports her. Yeah, he does. Yeah, Dr. Nell he acknowledges that. He says, you've been a support. You pretty much you thought you were supporting her in the beginning, and you really weren't. But, after I talked to you, you got it together. So that's basically what he was saying. You did it the right way. So next scene, Tim and Alicia go on a date. They take selfies together. They discuss their relationship. And he says, once you really get down to really ideal weight, we can have a fabulous wedding. Like, I want to marry you, but I want us to be able to really do this relationship and marriage right. So once you reach your goal, to get close to your goal, we're going to get married. I think he really loves her. And that is the end of the episode. And I do apologize for this review being so long. But I love you guys. I swear to God, I love you. I'm so glad that you watch my reviews and you take the time to check me out at all. Next up is LB Bonner review. I'm going to do that. It was hard for me to do that review, okay, because I felt bad for the guy. And I'm just so sorry that he couldn't get himself together. But I will talk about it. Next review, it's coming. And you guys, peace and blessings. I love you. Information in the description box if you want to donate to this channel. And I wasn't even taking donations for this channel. But if you want to, it would be appreciated. A subscriber actually suggested that. I said, well, might be a good idea. Might help to get this channel to really where I need it for it to be. So if you would like to donate, this description box has my Cash App information, and where you can also find me on the net. All social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and also YouTube. Subscribe here for me and for you so I can continue to keep bringing you reviews and videos and all that. Peace and blessings.